feel like this is an old school fight. This is what my dad used to talk to me about when he used to listen to fights on the radio. This is a legacy fight. Everybody clamors over the best fighting the best. Terrence Crawford, 39-0. Me, 28-0. He has a title. I have 3 titles.
Errol Spence Jr.
And this is for the undisputed.
Championship of the world.
This brings back to like 40 years ago when you had Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard and the 4 Kings fighting each other, and the best was fighting the best. This establishes not only who's the best welterweight in the world, I feel like this establishes who's the #1, boxer in the world. There's no debate after this fight. This is my lifestyle. This is what I've been doing since I was 15 years old. This is everything I knew. Everything around me was boxing. I was in the hospital, patched up, missing teeth, scars, and I'm talking about my first fight back. I want to fight Terrence Crawford. You got a short time in boxing. You got to make the most out of this opportunity. I'm confident I'm going to win this fight. I got all the tools to beat him. It's been a long road. July 29th is going to be stretch season.
Good afternoon from Las Vegas. I'm Ray Flores. We are 9 days away until history will be made for the first time in the 4-belt era. An undisputed welterweight champion will be crowned. Today, you are going to see the workout of the reigning WBC, IBF, and WBA welterweight champion of the world, Errol Spence Jr. Yesterday, we saw Terrence Bud Crawford work out. He looked in impeccable shape. Errol Spence Jr. also looking to make a definitive statement 9 days from now. It all comes your way on Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Make sure to order the fight, or if you are here in Las Vegas, head over to T-Mobile Arena and be a part of this historic night. It's no secret that the welterweight division has always been one of the glamour divisions in boxing, and Saturday, July 29th, we have one of the most important welterweight fights in recent memory. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great honor and pleasure to introduce a man who has a record of 28 wins, no losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He captured his first world title, his welterweight title, defeating Kell Brook back in 2017 out in the UK. And lo and behold, he has picked up the WBA and IBF welterweight championships along the way, along with the WBC championship. He's a 3-belt holder looking to go ahead and become the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, trained under the guidance of Derek James. He comes to us from DeSoto, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Errol the Truth Spence Jr. And now we are joined alongside by Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol, great to see you. We are 9 days away until you step inside the ring and look to make history when you square off against Terrence Bud Crawford. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot. This is what I worked for my whole career. To be the first ever undisputed welterweight champion of the world and facing a great opponent like Terrence Crawford.
How much are you looking forward to this moment? Because 2 years ago, you were slated to fight the great Manny Pacquiao. One thing you've always said to me is that you've always wanted your big Las Vegas moment where you're headlining. Now, fast forward less than 2 years from that, and you're going to be taking on Terrence Bud Crawford with a lot more on the line, and history could be made for you.
I feel like this is what this is about. I'm fighting the best. It's something that I've been wanting for a long time. You see guys like Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Hagler, Duran, all those guys, even the 4 Kings era, they've all fought each other, and they made historic fights because the best fought the best. And that's something I want to do regardless, even if it wasn't no belts on the line. I feel like Terrence is one of the best fighters in the world. I'm one of the best fighters in the world. and we had to make this happen.
With the level of opposition that you have in front of you on Saturday, July 29th against Terrence Crawford, does that make you get that much more focused? Does it amp up the training, or is it just business as usual?
It's definitely business as usual, but it's amped up the training just because the opponent that I'm facing, and I know his accolades, and I know, he can really fight, and I feel like we're going to put on a great show and a great performance.
Before I turn it over to the media for questions, as you're getting ready for this mega matchup, the world is talking about it. I know that Terrence Crawford's kids were asking him when he's going to fight you. I'm sure your family is all excited about this, but are you feeling the buzz from the worldwide media? Because I feel like everybody's talking about this matchup 9 days from now.
I'm definitely feeling the buzz. I've been feeling the buzz. I go to the store, go anywhere, and the first thing someone asks me is when me and Terrence Crawford going to fight. So I knew it was a fight that, I had to make happen. Both of us had to make happen because this is what the public definitely wanted. This is what everybody wanted. This is what I wanted. This is what he wanted. And basically to prove who is the man at the welterweight division. Not only the man at the welterweight division, but who is the man in boxing.
Is this for best pound for pound, you think? You think the winner of this fight will be known as the best pound for pound fighter on the planet?
Definitely. The winner of this fight will be the best fighter in boxing, period.
All right, now I'm going to turn it over to the media for questions. Errol, I'm going to hold the mic for you and allow the media to ask you questions, as Mitch from Showtime will go ahead and make sure to go ahead and give us your media and ask the question.
Andreas here with the Sport News. Errol, you mentioned that this fight could be a dog fight. Would you be disappointed if it was one-way traffic one way or another, or do you want to make history of having one of the best fights in welterweight history?
Well, I definitely won't be disappointed if it's just a one-way traffic with me watching them. But if it is a great fight, then I wouldn't be disappointed at that either because, it's something that people talk about for decades.
My follow-up to that is, if this fight happened 3 years ago, do you think the result would be different? Because are you better than you were 3 years ago, or what do you think?
I couldn't tell you how the fight would play out if it happened 3 years ago. It'd probably play out the same day it play out Saturday night.
Hi, Errol. Cynthia from Best Women's Boxing Show, period.
Hello.
I asked Bomac yesterday, out of all the fights when they do tape study, which one of your fights would be the one that shows you're an all-around fighter, and that's the Crawford, that's the fight that they're going to see in the ring with Crawford. He said you are a media-driven fighter. He blamed all of us, PBC, and everyone else. Do you have a response to that?
No, I don't have a response to it. I do use negativity as motivation, but, it is what it is. No, I don't have a response to it.
Hey, what's up, Earl?
What up?
You and Crawford are involved in the fight of the decade, maybe even in the sense of the generation. But recently, Sports Illustrated put Jake Paul on the cover of their magazine instead of you guys. What do you think about that?
That's their priority. That's what they want to do. Hey, I can't knock it, man. I can remember last time I bought a Sports Illustrated magazine, so I don't know.
Errol, Sam Gordon here, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Your quest for Undisputed, you've beaten 3 title holders. If you beat Terrence, that'd be the 4th. Nobody else who's captured Undisputed has gone through 4 belt holders to do it. What do you think has just been the unique part of the challenges that have come with your journey, and how fulfilling is it to go about it that particular way, in a way that nobody else has?
Basically, like you stated, just to come up with me being one champion, me being the next champion. Like every belt that I took for somebody, so that's basically it right there, that, I'm beating champion after champion after champion after champion. I'm not just fighting one person and he has the belts and I'm beating him. I'm going through the ringer, fighting the best guys in my division who hold belts and beating them. I feel like it's a big difference when you face a champion than you face him when he's not a champion, because he got more to fight for when he has a belt.
Questions, guys? Anybody else? Questions?
Eli Sagbek, yes, News. Quick question. What does it mean everyone thinks they can swim until they get in the water?
It basically, you basically said it. Everybody think they can swim until they get in the water. So, you start getting tired. You know how hard swimming is. Start getting tired, you start sinking, and you might drown. Stacy right here, you see him. He's trying to keep his head above water and his other sharks. you know. So that's basically what it means. Everybody think they swim until they get in the water and they trying to paddle to survive.
Questions?
Errol, we got a chance to look at Terrence yesterday, and you do look like definitely the physically bigger welterweight. How much does that factor into this fight?
I mean, I wouldn't know how much you factor into it until we get in the ring. They say he's a strong guy, so I mean, we definitely see next week.
Hey, Errol. When it comes to preparing for this fight and Terrence's style and the problems that he presents, what fighters would you say, in your experience, will actually kind of help you with preparing for Terrence Crawford?
I don't think it's anybody to help prepare me for Terrence Crawford, just because his style is different from everybody else. It's just like saying, when Ray Leonard fought Tommy Hearns, what style would help him for Tommy. I don't think he fought anybody like Tommy until he fought Tommy, and there's vice versa. So same thing with Ali and Joe Frazier. So I feel like this is the first time that I'm fighting somebody with this type of style that Terrence Crawford has.
Errol, this is the first time since your fight with Kell Brook that you're kind of back and forth as an underdog, especially as the headliner. How does it feel like to be seen as an underdog by a lot of people in the fight that you're headlining?
I really don't care. I mean, he's headlining too. So, but I really don't care. It is what it is. I mean, people have opinions. So it's time just to prove them wrong.
Errol, if I can, how do you deal with it when Crawford switches? Like, what are the keys for you to be able, when he switches stances, what are the things you need to accomplish?
I mean, it's basically the same. I just got to pay attention to when he switches. I mean, it's basically the same thing as if he switched to southpaw. Same thing with me fighting the southpaw. If he switched to orthodox, it's the same thing as me fighting the orthodox fighter. Just the way you recognize when he switches. The biggest motivation for me is just to win. I feel like that's the most valuable motivation. If you don't have that motivation, to win, be successful, be the undisputed, and take care of my family.
Is the family part like the deepest motivation? Like, I know to win is something, it's sport, but is there anything deeper? Is it like the family part? Like, hey, this fight makes it so that my kids and my grandkids are okay.
I mean, I feel like that's the only thing that's more important. I mean, winning is cool. Of course, we want to win. We don't want anybody better than us, especially another man. But to be able to take care of your family, especially for the rest of your life, and make sure they're good when they get older, that's a different type of flex. And a lot of people need to focus on that. And that's just my opinion about this fight and future fights in that aspect, because when I got into my crash, it made me focus on different things and putting things in perspective. And the main thing that, I wanted to put in perspective was to, take care of my family.
Would you say that makes you more dangerous of a fighter?
It definitely makes you more dangerous because it gives you motive. So it definitely makes you more dangerous of a fighter.
Hey, Errol. Alan Dawson. We were speaking to Terrence Crawford yesterday, and he was saying that he thinks he could beat you in any sport, not just boxing. Now that it gets to this part in the promotion, are there things in him that you admire, like just how competitive he is and how competitive he wants to make this fight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what makes a great champion. I mean, you wouldn't ask Kobe or A. Howard, anybody else, or LeBron. You ask them, you say you could beat him in this, they're going to say yeah. So that's just his competitive nature. He just want to be the best, and, he think he can beat somebody in anything. That's the same with me.
All right, we're going to allow Errol Spence Jr. to go and work out for all the media and the fans that are watching on the streams around the world. Errol Spence Jr. collides against Terrence Bud Crawford for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world on Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. Errol Spence workout set to begin here in Las Vegas.
What the fuck is this dude doing here?
Errol Spence Jr. work here in the fighting capital of the world. We are so excited for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world that comes away Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. This is a fight that the world has been waiting for quite a while. And finally, we have two titans in the welterweight division that are getting set to collide. And I am very curious to see which man is going to have their hand raised on July 29th and make history by becoming the first undisputed welterweight champion of the world in the four-belt era. It hasn't been done before with four belts. And on Saturday, July 29th, history will indeed be made at T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. One thing about being around Terrence Crawford and even seeing Errol Spence Jr. in the little bit that I have, both men are supremely focused. They have this confidence about them, but they also have been preparing themselves for the biggest test of their professional careers. This is a fight where both men are going to be able to write their history and further their legacy if they are victorious on Saturday, July 29th. Also, another key component to this matchup is that both men have had different journeys, but also similar journeys in regards to their ascension up the ranks. When it comes to Errol Spence Jr., like Terrence Crawford, he had to go overseas to capture his first world title. Terrence Crawford had to do that by becoming a lightweight champion of the world by defeating Ricky Burns in the UK. Speaking of the UK, Errol Spence Jr. had to go to England in front of a hostile crowd in May in 2017, a fight that you saw on Showtime Championship Boxing, and he smashed Kell Brook. That is not an easy task. Both men are undefeated. As they say in prize fighting, one of my favorite sayings, it's someone's got to go. And that'll certainly be the case on Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. The event promoted by TGB Promotions, Man Down Promotions, and TBC Promotions. Also, we have a dynamic undercard that'll come your way. We start 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time live on Showtime pay-per-view. We will begin in the super welterweight division. Yoenis Tellez, the Cuban standout, 5-0 with 4 knockouts. He will match up against the Spaniard Sergio Garcia. Then we will transition to the bantamweight division as the future Hall of Famer Nonito Donaire will be in action as he will go ahead and of the evening for all the world championships for welterweight supremacy. Errol Spence Jr. will go one-on-one against Terrence Bud Crawford. Both men have outstanding trainers. Crawford with Brian Bomac McIntyre for Errol Spence Jr. He's trained under the guidance of the 2022 Trainer of the Year in Derek James. Also, we see Frank Martin. He is in the house. We'll talk with Frank Martin, who's recently coming off of an important victory at the Cosmo here in Las Vegas. You saw that fight on Showtime Championship Boxing. So we'll talk with Frank Martin, who is one of the fighters under the Mandam Promotions banner, that being the promotional entity for Errol Spence Jr. I've known Errol Spence Jr. for a long time. What I can tell you about Errol is that this is a fight that he's always craved, he's always desired. And not only that, but for a prize fighter, it is your ultimate goal to headline here in Las Vegas, to be a part of an event of this magnitude. This is what we say is rarefied era. Now, inside the ring, Errol Spence Jr., we will allow him to work out for all of you, and we'll speak with Derek James and also Frank Martin along the way. Errol Spence Jr. workout here in Las Vegas. All right, we are joined alongside by the esteemed trainer of none other than Errol Spence Jr., the 2022 Trainer of the Year, a man who is very busy. Obviously, congratulations on Frank Martin's victory on Saturday, but some more business to handle 9 days from now. Your man, Errol Spence Jr., looks to become the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. For Errol and the entire team, Derek, what does this mean to all of you?
This means everything. I think that from the moment he turned professional, he said what he wanted to do. And there's so many different steps he had to take to get to this particular point. And now he only has one more step to become what he set out to be. Not only a great, but this thing to be undisputed champ is everything he wanted. So one more step, 9 days away.
The one thing that I've been hearing that is a theme from the Errol Spence camp and all of you is that you guys feel that the pressure will be enough to suffocate Terence Crawford. Why do you feel that way?
Well, what I'll say is this, that the fighter that Errol has been so long, he'll continue to be that fighter. Whether Crawford steps up to it and be able to face it or not, that's on him. But our goal is to be able to continue to push like we've been pushing and use everything we've been using to be successful.
Errol hasn't been in the ring since he fought your Dennis Ugas back in April of last year. It will be a 15-month layoff since he last stepped inside the ring for Terence Crawford. He had a fight against David Avanesian at the end of December. Are you concerned at all about ring rust, or have you guys done different things in training camp to sort of negate that?
Well, he's been training. He's been working out. And in between that time, he's been sparring. And so it's not like he hasn't been in the ring. It's just about him being able to adjust and adapt to Terence's speed and everything that he does. And that's over time within a fight, maybe within 1 or 2 rounds or so. maybe 3 rounds. But once that happens, then you'll start to see him get in his flow, whatever, and do whatever he needs to do.
What is your synopsis about going head-to-head against another? Not only is it Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, but I talked to Brian McIntyre about this, the trainer of Terrence Crawford, and he said he loves the fact that he's matching game plans and wits against somebody of your caliber. How do you feel about matching up and going X's and O's against Brian McIntyre, because both Crawford and Spence are undefeated and also world champions for quite a while?
Well, I really don't feel anything about it because I'm not competing with him. I'm competing with myself. I'm my greatest competition, so I'm not even worried about him on the other side. I had no idea. I don't care about to be anybody. My focus is to be able to be who I am every day, building up to the fight, and to continue to compete with myself. I'm not worried about him.
Derek, the one thing that I notice about you in these massive fights with thousands of people and electricity and all the noise and the cameras, the flash bulbs going off, is that you're so composed in the corner, even though when things get tumultuous and the action heats up. How do you remain so relaxed and focused on the task at hand?
I think you just have to constantly stay present and not really be. The moment I look in the audience, it's over. The moment I see the people, it's over. So for me, I have to be focused on my guy, focus on Crawford, seeing what he's doing, and telling my guy what to do from that particular point. I have to stay present, I have to stay focused. If I can't do that, it's over.
My final question to you is, what does the perfect Errol Spence performance against Terrence Crawford 9 days from now on Showtime pay-per-view, what does that look like?
It looks like a victory. I don't care how he gets it. I just care that he does get it. It doesn't matter about how or what. I just care that he does get it.
Derek, greatly appreciate the time. Good luck. We'll see you during fight week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to be here.
Derek James, the esteemed trainer, the 2022 Trainer of the Year. He leads Errol Spence Jr. in the battle against Terrence Crawford. Back to Errol Spence's workout here. And actually right now, I'm privileged to be joined alongside by Frank Martin, who just came off a victory, remaining undefeated. We'll talk about some late round theatrics from you, Frank, getting that knockdown in the 12th round. Congratulations on your victory. Before we get to Errol and the task at hand, you're under the guidance of Man Down Promotions, Errol Spence's promotional entity and a promotional company. But how big of a win was that for you on Saturday night on Showtime Championship Boxing?
It was a good win. You know, fights like that, I like those type of fights. You know what I mean? You got to dig deep. You got to pull something out. You know what I mean? I had to bring that dog out in the fight, you know, stopped him in the 12th round. And, well, not stopped him, but, you know, dropped him, made him take a knee in the 12th round. So, man, I just had to figure it out up in there.
Did you feel like you needed the knockdown in the 12th round, or was it sort of one of those things to put that exclamation mark?
No, I was going for the stoppage.
Oh, you were? Know? Okay.
I was going for the stoppage. You know, I was chasing him, trying to get him, but, you know, dude, he was a tough opponent. You know, he ain't come in there to lay down at all. So, you know, I had to press the issue. I knew that I gave, like, you know, some rounds up just because of I wasn't offensively, you know, all the way on point, you know, fight night. But defensively, I was immaculate on defense.
What did Errol tell you after the fight?
Just you know, just basically, you know, just stay focused. Stay focused. It's only gonna get tougher. It's only gonna get harder. So I just got to be ready.
What is it like being in training camp for this particular fight with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? You've been in his training camp and been training alongside him for the past several years, but how does this Errol Spence Jr. training camp compared to the others that you've been a part of?
It's intense, you know. It's definitely been intense. He been like super focused. Everybody in the gym been just feeding off of each other. The energy in the gym just been like crazy because we all got fights. Like everybody got fights, you know, like close to each other. So, man, just being a part of this, you know, because prior, him talking about how he wanted to fight, but things wasn't happening in the beginning. So to see him get in the fight now, you know, is dope. And then how hard he been working, you know, he ready.
What are your thoughts on the fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford next Saturday night on Showtime pay-per-view?
I think Errol's gonna pitch a shutout. You know, I feel like he's gonna put on a masterful performance.
I asked Derek James this, and I'm gonna ask you, but in a perfect world, what does Errol Spence's performance against Terrence Crawford look like? Derek told me it's just the win no matter how he gets it. From your standpoint, how do you see the fight playing out actually in the ring?
I'm gonna go off of what Derek said. You know, however you get the win. I honestly feel like You know, he been super on point. You know, I feel like he gonna pitch a shutout. That's just my opinion.
Think the pressure will get to Crawford?
No, I feel like Crawford pretty game. He a game fighter. You know, I feel like it's gonna be a good fight while it lasts.
And obviously, my final question is for all of you: when you see Errol Spence's name everywhere here in Las Vegas, on the Strip, on the billboards, on the marquees, how much does that excite you guys? And how it's like this is rarefied air to get to this level of prize fighting.
Man, it's dope. It's a dope experience, you know, to see all of that. You know, to see Earl on the big, you know, all out here on posters and stuff is dope. It's dope.
Frank, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on your win. We'll see you next week during Fight Week.
Appreciate you.
Frank Martin joining us, the undefeated lightweight. We'll go back to Errol Spence's workout here in Las Vegas.
Make your mind stronger. Oh, yeah,
You're watching the Errol Spence workout from the WBC IBF and WBA welterweight champion of the world working out. He's 28-0, 22 knockouts from DeSoto, Texas, working out with his esteemed trainer, the 2022 Trainer of the Year, Derek James. Errol Spence Jr., 9 days away from his impending showdown against Terrence Crawford for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world on Showtime pay-per-view. Once again, you are watching the Errol Spence Jr. workout here in Las Vegas. Errol is the reigning WBC, WBA, and IBF welterweight champion of the world. He will match up against Terrence Bud Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion of the world, as undisputed welterweight supremacy is on the line on Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's all being promoted by TGB Promotions, Mandan Promotions, and TBC Promotions. Errol Spence Jr. working out with his trainer of the year, the esteemed Derek James. Errol, 33 years of age from DeSoto, Texas. No doubt looking to take his record up to 29-0. The one thing that Errol has been transfixed on is becoming the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. He calls it strap season. He has beaten the likes of Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yordenis Ugas, picking up 3 world titles, and he hopes to eclipse Terrence Bud Crawford on Saturday, July 29th, to become the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. Back to Errol Spence's workout here in Las Vegas.
All right, I got you.
Shit. Like a nightclub.
It's too damn hot. Right? Right.
They say the socks led at 1-1, so I know it's coming. The socks led at 1-1. The socks led at 1-1.
Hey, Earl, no breaks, Derek, no breaks. In the heat full of people. Yeah, no, other people take 2 minutes between rounds, a minute 30. By the way, those body shots, some of the best in the business. They paralyze people.
Y'all saw the discipline, who's going to walk in the ring first?
Body shots. Look like they're getting harder each shot to do. That made it look right here. It's hard to think of it. Was the water hot? Is that what you were saying? Did the water that you had, was that hot? Or the body heat?
What would you say is Terrence Crawford's best attribute?
Once again, you are watching the Errol Spence Jr. workout here in Las Vegas. 9 days away until the undisputed welterweight championship of the world is on the line. It is welterweight supremacy as Errol Spence Jr. goes head-to-head against Terrence Bud Crawford. Both men world champions, both men undefeated. Someone's got to go, and history will be made as one man will become the undisputed welterweight champion of the world for the first time in the four-belt era. It is going to be an electric night of boxing. You do not want to miss it. Next Saturday, July 29th, live on Showtime pay-per-view. You saw Errol Spence Jr. work out over the past hour here on the Showtime Sports social media pages, and he looks absolutely shredded, in impeccable physical shape, no doubt laser focused and ready for his showdown coming up against Terrence Bud Crawford. We're waiting, and we're going to speak with Errol Spence Jr. following his workout next week. Check out the Showtime Sports social media pages for Fight Week festivities all week long. We are so excited to bring you Fight Week as we inch closer to a fight that the world has been waiting for. The two best fighters on the planet going at it. You heard Errol Spence Jr. telling me earlier before his workout that he believes the winner of this fight will go ahead not only win all four welterweight championships, but be able to go ahead and claim the mythical ranking of best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. As we are awaiting Errol Spence Jr., we're going to speak with him and get his final thoughts as he's 9 days away from his showdown. Final preparations ongoing here with Errol Spence Jr., his trainer, Derek James. Also, it's great to see Frank Martin here. Frank Martin fresh off of a victory on Saturday night. You witnessed that on Showtime Championship Boxing. But Errol Spence Jr. looks to take his record to 29-0. He's calling it strap season. Defeated Kell Brook to capture the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World back in May of 2017 out in England. Then, in September of 2019, defeated the great Showtime Sean Porter to pick up the WBC Welterweight Championship of the World. And last year, in April of 2021, in front of nearly, or 2022, beg your pardon, in front of nearly 40,000 fans, Errol Spence Jr. ended the night of Yordenis Ugas to capture the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. Now, Errol Spence Jr. is transfixed on Terrence Crawford, who holds the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. He's calling it strap season. Will he add one more to his championship mantle? We will find out 9 days from now on Showtime pay-per-view. It is Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Bud Crawford. Once again, we are going to have a final couple of words with Errol Spence Jr. to get his thoughts before Fight Week begins. I cannot wait to get back here to Las Vegas to begin Fight Week festivities. No doubt both men are the top of the heap when it comes to the welterweight division. This is the most significant fight in the welterweight division in quite some time. And if you follow the sport of boxing, you all know that the welterweight division is one of the glamour divisions in the sport, and this fight is so emblematic of that. The buzz and the energy here in Las Vegas the week before the fight is already reaching a fever pitch. I can only anticipate and fathom how it's going to be like next week here in Las Vegas, but the focus is no doubt on Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. We have a loaded night of boxing that comes your way. Also a couple streaming fights that'll start your way coming up at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific time on the Showtime Sports social media pages. The pay-per-view gets going at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. 4 fights on the card. The co-main event, Isaac Pitbull Cruz will match up against Giovanni Cabrera. That one, a lightweight title eliminator. Prior to that, you will have the future Hall of Famer, Nonito Donaire, in action against Alexander Santiago. That one being for the vacant WBC Bantamweight Championship of the World. To begin the pay-per-view, you have the Cuban standout, the super welterweight up-and-comer, in Yoenis Diaz matching up against Sergio Garcia. And now we are going to have a couple of final words with Errol Spence Jr. Errol, how was your workout? I mean, I don't even think there is an ounce of fat on you. My goodness, you look absolutely shredded. Is this the best in shape that you've ever felt heading into a prize fight?
It's at the top. It's definitely at the top. the best shape I've been. You know, just had to make a lot of sacrifices just to make the weight, and everything's been going good. Everything been going to the plan, to the T. Working with my nutritionist, dietitian to get down to the weight. We've been doing our thing.
I know you're very close with your father, and what does him being here, and he's, very, quiet, subdued, but he's always around you and helping you out. How much do you and your father just share this bond? Not only father and son, but he's also a very big part of your camp as well.
Yeah, I basically call him my shadow because he's behind me, but he always, making sure I'm good. He always watching. He always on point. He's not talking much, but he always keeps his eyes open and always paying attention. And that's what, I feel like every fighter needs, somebody who's out for your best interest. And I started this with him, and he didn't know where I was going to be. He didn't know I was going to get to this point. He didn't even know I was going to be good. And, he sacrificed a lot, to get me to this point and bring me to the gym after working graveyard shifts and coming home 11 o'clock, getting 3-4 hours of rest. And I come home from school, we going to the boxing gym. He was doing that for years, so I was able to drive, and he still saved me to the gym. He still saved me to the gym today. He still come to my house and pick me up.
So he picked you up today?
Oh, man, he picked me up every day. Like,
oh, wow.
When I'm at home, he still taking me to the gym to this day. I'm 33 years old, and he still comes to my house, pick me up, and we go to the gym. We've been doing this since day one.
I know you're very proud. You're obviously fighting here in Las Vegas, but they love you in Dallas. I mean, that's your hometown. You're from DeSoto, Texas. You're a diehard Dallas Cowboys fans. You fought at AT&T Stadium several times, had nearly 40,000 fans in your fight against your Dennis Ugas, nearly 50,000 when you fought Mikey Garcia. But how much, love and support are you getting from those down in Dallas? And if you want to especially send out a message to those that support you in the Lone Star State.
I've been getting, tremendous amount of support from Dallas, just for Texas. And I thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. And it's been on my conscience. I've been getting support from them for a long time now. So, I'm not a normal person anymore. And, as much as I want to be a normal person, and I try to be a normal person, I'm not a normal person. So, it's time for me to, basically, give back to my community, do stuff in my community, and be more outspoken and just be out there more. So that's something I'm going to make a conservative effort of doing, when I get home, and just be in the community more and try to serve the community more.
If Terrence Crawford is watching this right now, what message do you want to give to him as you guys prepare to enter Fight Week next week here in Las Vegas ahead of your July 29th showdown on Showtime pay-per-view?
I don't have no message for him. It's going to be a war. I got a message for the fans. Everybody make sure you tune in to this fight. It's going to be amazing, legendary fights. If you've seen fights like Ali, Joe Frazier, Ray Leonard, Hearns, Ray Leonard, all those type fights, you definitely want to tune into this fight. This fight is going to be a war. It's going to be a war of nutrition. This is the fight you definitely want to see. If you was an X fan or a fan now, or you just a casual, you definitely want to tune into this fight. It's going to be a straight-out war, guts and glory type fight.
You heard it from the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF welterweight champion of the world, Errol Spence Jr. Good luck, Errol. We'll see you next week here in Las Vegas.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Errol Spence Jr. concluding his workout. We will see you next week as we go ahead and continue here with Fight Week with Errol Spence Jr. As we go ahead and Errol, real quick before I let you go, you talk about strap season. You went ahead and overseas beating Kell Brook for the IBF title. You beat Sean Porter for the WBC title. You beat Ugas for the WBA title. Now, what would it mean for you to capture the WBO title by beating probably your biggest nemesis to date in Terrence Crawford?
It means a lot. I'm not gonna say it means everything, but it means a lot to beat Terrence Crawford, and basically cement my name in boxing because I'll be the first undisputed welterweight champion of the world. I think I'm the first undisputed champion who beat everybody, beat every person that had a belt. I beat them. So to be the fourth person with a belt in my weight class that I beat to become undisputed. And despite everything that I've been through, I always stuck to my game plan. I always stuck to my word, and I told everybody, basically what I was going to do. And after I get those belts, I was going to come take Terrence Crawford shit too. And this is what I'm doing. come July 29th.
Who came up with the design of the T-shirts? Because the whole strap season T-shirt, very unique, and I find it to be quite comical.
I came up with the Rolling and Blunt shirt, but almost all the credit goes to Jordan Isom. He's a guy that, you know, don't have really no experience doing this, but he makes up the shirts. He get them printed out, and he sends them out to everybody. He does his thing. So much love and respect to my boy Jordan. It's one of my best friends. It's my guy, and you know, I trust him with my life.
All right, Errol, appreciate it. Good luck. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Errol Spence Jr. joining us here as Errol. And now we are with Ryan Garcia. It's great to see Ryan, who is being trained under the guidance of Derrick James. Ryan, great to see you being here, obviously, before we get to your business, but being here with Errol Spence and Derrick James. I feel like they've taken you on as one of their own. What has this been like for you to be a part of this, seeing Errol Spence get ready for Terrence Crawford?
I mean, part of another huge event. I mean, this is what boxing is about. Being a part of it is a blessing. I didn't even expect to be doing this. I came to train, but, you know, I'm honored to be part of this camp. He's an animal, somebody to look up to. So, you know, I'm humbled just being here, and it's amazing to train beside him right here. He's inspiring, for sure.
Yeah, what inspires you about him? Is his work ethic? Is it just his mentality, his focus, his attention to detail?
I mean, this man's overcome so many things. I mean, that's not normal. I mean, he's survived a car crash, came back, eye surgery, came back. This man can't be defeated, so that's inspiring in itself. And he got. I mean, if you see him train, he's an animal as well. So all those qualities about him really inspire me and push me to keep getting better as a fighter.
When you decided to find another trainer after you're parting with the Hall of Famer Joe Goossen, how did you settle upon Derrick James and Errol Spence's team?
I just prayed to God, try to see where he was guiding me. And it just led me to Dallas, led me to Derrick, and I pursued it. And I'm here now, and I feel good. I feel, you know, like it's family, like it's a bond. So I'm hungry, man. That's why I'm here every day training. I didn't even know this was happening, but I came to train with Derrick. And like I said, it's a blessing. Happy to be part of the team. I'm improving, getting better. I'm ready to get at it at 140, bring on Rollies. You know, he's part of PBC. We already ran it once with PBC. I didn't get my get back, so I'm going to beat Rollies' ass, and we're going to have that at 140.
What's it like being a part of a fight weekend and being, you know, I know you're going to be at the fight with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. You obviously were front and center in April. What a massive event that was, but is it nice to be able to just go and enjoy it as a fan instead of as a fighter?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't feel the pressure, so I'm good.
How do you see the fight playing out with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford?
I feel like Errol's going to he's just going to do what he does. You know, he's going to put that pressure on him, and he's start getting to him in the later rounds. It's going to be a good fight, but I think Spence obviously going to win by decision. I think by unanimous, but we'll see. You know, it's going to be good. I mean, Terrence a bad man too, but I got Errol for sure.
What a year for boxing, and you certainly started that with your matchup against Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, we set the tone. Now it's ready. Boxing is going to keep elevating from here. Everybody knows the new blueprint now. Make the fights happen. Big money's coming, and that's it. That's how you make money, and that's how you make the fans happy. Just give them what they want.
Ryan, great seeing you. We'll see you during fight week.
God bless.
Ryan Garcia joining us. All right, that'll officially do it for the Errol Spence Jr. workout here in Las Vegas. Do not miss Fight Week. That begins next week, Saturday, July 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. For the first time in the four-belt era, history will be made. An undisputed welterweight champion of the world will be crowned. Errol Spence Jr. collides against Terrence Bud Crawford. All four belts are on the line. Someone's got to go. So long from now, here from Las Vegas. We'll see you next week during Fight Week. It is Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. Welterweight supremacy on the line on Showtime pay-per-view from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Will Chamberlain invented the world-famous black millionaire basketball player.
The first superstar in basketball.
You have certain preconceptions about me. My guess is, too, that you're wrong.
After Martin Luther King's assassination, Will realized I can make a difference.
The impact of his efforts benefited everybody.
He's one of the most misunderstood people that I've ever seen.
Goliath, only on Showtime, streaming with Paramount Plus.
once in a generation.
The time has come.
A fight makes history.
It's champion versus champion.
Before anyone steps in the ring, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford, the most anticipated fight of the decade is here.
Beat him up! Beat him up!
Undefeated, undisputed, unprecedented. Spence versus Crawford for the undisputed world title, Saturday, July 29th, live on pay-per-view.